Welcome back to the M&M Sports Channel. We're your host Matt
And Mike.
coming at you with our favorite picks from the gridiron every week. And now with Thursday gone, we're moving on to Sunday. Mike, what's your first pick?
Matt, I was looking at the Lions' schedule, and they lost the first game, as you know. Week 3, they're playing against Baltimore, which will not be easy. So this week, they're playing at home against the Bears. So I love Detroit, but there's two props I really like, which is Gibbs over 70 yards and St. Brown's over 64.5. I think the offense will be full charge. I don't think the offense played very well against a good Green Bay defense. So I'm looking for them to rebound this week, making sure they don't get 0-2 against Baltimore next week. Matt, your first pick?
Well, my first pick for this Sunday is Drake May over 217.5. He had a great game last week. He threw 46 times compared to just 18 carries on the run. I mean, they look like a pass-heavy offense. And, they gave 272 to Daniel Jones. I think Drake May will swing it this week as well.
My second pick, I love the Steelers. They're going back home. I think the defense will show up against a vulnerable Seahawks offense. So I'm looking for them to rebound defensively. And the offense looked great. So at home minus 2.5 should be an easy pick. Matt, your second pick.
Well, for the first time on this show, we've talked about what we were going to have for the props this week. And we were both on the same page on this one. We have Breece Hall over 57.5 yards. And, he runs the ball real well, had a great game last week against Pittsburgh, who I thought were going to stop him. He averaged 88 yards. He ran an average of 88 yards against the Bills last year, and it looks like it will be probably much of the same this season. We have him over 57.5. What's your next pick, Mike?
Well, I agree with you, and I think that they don't want the Bills to have the ball, so they'll try to control the clock a little bit with running. And the Bills are maybe if they have a weakness, it's against the run. So that's why I guess we have the same pick, but I love that we have the same pick. My next pick is, I think everything is going so bad in Miami that I love New England. I think they'll rebound from that, last week.
Not so bad, I did call the Colts would be good, not so bad. Let's not take away from my Colts.
No, they did, but like with Hill now going to court again, and everything outside of the field is not going as well either. So I see New England, which has a good structure. I think they'll be tougher this week, and you even have points. So great pick for this week. That's my fourth pick of the week. So what about yours, Matt?
Well, for my third pick this Sunday, I have Devontae Adams over 58.5. They're playing Tennessee. Their defense played well against the Broncos, but the Rams look ready to go. They played well last week. I think they just needed a little bit more prep time. And against this Tennessee defense, I see them throwing the ball all day. And, last week was Puka's week with 130 yards. I see this week being Devonta's week. Kind of this week, my week, kind of throwing them to each, making sure they're both happy. So I think this will be Devonta's week.
For my last pick of the week, I love the matchup of Casey against the Eagles. Last week, they were able to run easily, so there was not a lot of passing going on. I don't think it's going to be that easy against Casey. So I'm looking at Ertz to throw the ball a lot more to their receivers. So I see A.J. Brown as over 54.5. That's not much for him. So over 54.5. Matt?
Well, for my last pick of this Sunday, I have Justin Herbert over 251.5. He threw for 318 against Kansas City. They have a great defense, but he played well. He looks ready to go. He's looking like he wants to take that next step into becoming a true superstar. So I have him over 251 this week. Easy.
Okay, so as you know, Matt, we won both of our survivors for last week. So my survivor for this week, and I know I'm losing a good team, but it should be an easy win. I'm going with Baltimore.
Well, yeah, that's a good pick. I mean, we both had Baltimore when we talked about it, and on the same page once again. But just to make sure, I'm not going to go for the Ravens this week. I'm going to go for the Rams. I think they'll crush Tennessee. The Tennessee's offense looked all over the place and not in a good place. So I have the Rams on my survivor this.
Okay, so that's it for this week. Hope you'll make a lot of money. We'll see you on Monday for the Monday Night Football game.